Author's point of view.
What are you doing?
Next morning at first hour, Max entered Meredith's office, and struggling to not squeeze her neck, he asked her, "Why the fuck didn't you answer my phone?" And yells with a growl shocking all the designers, which by the way are all werewolves. Meredith looks at him, and knowing well that he is out of limits, asked him trying to look dumbfounded, "Mr. Cruz, did you just growl at me?" How is it possible for a human to growl like a wolf? And Max just looks at her being unable to say anything else. How does she know how a wolf growls? And he looks at her and trying to control himself asks again, in a more calm voice, "Why didn't you answer my phone?" "But I answered, Mr. Cruz, and I told you that I am in my free time, and that you can tell me today what the emergency was." "I see that you are already here," said Meredith looking sweetly at him. "Kiss her." Stark said, "Please kiss her, Max," and he just looks at her as she stays in front of him, smiling sweetly, without knowing that he didn't sleep all night because of her. "Where have you been last night?" Max asks her, did she go on a date? Or she was with her ex-husband, somewhere doing who knows what? Or does she have someone new in her life? All the question possible and impossible are rising in his mind. "Mr. Cruz, this is not a proper question," said Meredith, sitting in her chair and looking at her laptop. "Isn't a proper question. What is a proper question then?" He asked, feeling that a blood vein would crack soon. "What was the emergency?" She asks him without looking at him even for a second while she scrolls something on her laptop. "Meredith Quinn, please tell me where you were last night." And he just looks at her, almost begging her to answer. Meredith looks at him and freezes. What is wrong with him? He ignored her all their marriage and now he just looked like a jealous man. No, it must be only her imagination, although I do not understand how this information helps you. "I will tell you, Mr. Cruz. I was at my apartment all evening. Are you happy now? Alone?" He asks her. "Are you for real?" Meredith asks and let her laptop to look at him. "Answer me." He asked in alpha command, making Meredith to feel uneasy. "No, I was with my friend," she said, a little nervously, not understanding where Max wanted to go with all the questions. "Man or woman?" Max asked again. "For the God's sake, what is all about?" She asks, very angry, and stand up from her chair, pushing it furiously and making it spin. "Man or woman? I asked you a question." Max yelled at her, alarming again all the employees. "You know what, Mr. Cruz? I am busy, and you are not paying me so much money to tell you about my personal life. So please let me do my work," Meredith said, and coming in front of him in all her glory, she pointed to the door. Max looked at her with shock. Is the first time in his life when a woman doesn't want him. When a woman is not submitting when he asks. And she is his mate. How can a human be so strong? "Kiss her." Stark yells again. "Get out." Meredith yells at him at the same time, and he walks to the door, making her breathe in peace. But in just a second she sees him closing the office door with the key and pulling the blinds from of her office, so that no one will know what is going on inside. "What are you doing?" Meredith asks, becoming alarmed when she sees Max approaching her in a determined, almost military manner. He comes near her, and just when she wants to start arguing with him, Max grabs her in his arms and looks at her in shock, and not understanding anything asks her, "What have you done to me?" "I didn't do anything." But she is not able to finish because Max grabs her nape with his hand and pulling her completely towards him. He lifts her in his arms and kisses her directly. Meredith wants to yell at him, but as soon as she tries to say something, Max takes the opportunity and puts his tongue in her mouth, kissing her as if his whole life is hanging on to this kiss. And Meredith is just melted in his arms, and suddenly becomes calm. "Man or woman?" he asks her again after some time, letting her breath, looking perplexed at him. Meredith whispers a soft woman, and tries to catch her breath. "I was with Kara all evening." And she doesn't even know why she answers. Max looks at her, and closes his eyes. "I will let you work," he said, and walked away from her, but just before to exit her office he tell her, "Don't schedule anything for tonight. We're going out." "Excuse me?" Meredith asks him, starting to get angry again, and realizing that this brat just kissed her by force. Dress nicely. It is a business dinner, and Max goes outside, slamming the door behind him while Meredith just looks at him with her mouth open. Go back. Kiss her again. Stark yells at Max, why are you going away from her? Shut up, Stark, Max said. Kissing her made his mind to become blank for a few moments. Is like being reborn, waking up one day that all your life you lived in a parallel universe, far from everything you thought you knew. It is like discovering the secret of happiness. Kissing Meredith was the most perfect thing he ever did in his life. And now, he is just confused. What about his pack safety? What about all that comes with the Luna position? He can't be selfish and accept Meredith as his mate. No, he will still wait until Stark changes his mind. I'll never change my mind. Starks growl at Max. I just hate for this, Max. It will pass. Max said and entered his office. Maybe to have a mate is not so important as it seems. I will resist the bond mate. Meredith's Quinn point of view. What the hell just happened? I wonder, collapsing in my chair. I just kissed Max Cruz. No, he kissed me, for the goddess's sake. How did something like this happen? Please, goddess. Give me strength because I feel like I am going crazy here. What is the purpose of this madness? But I cannot get rid of a madman as soon as another one enters my office. Yes, people, the one and only, Sam Jackson. Where is she? Sam asks, looking at me in panic, and I know he means but why respond to him when he was a jerk with Kara. So I am fooling around and pretending I don't know what he is talking about. Where is who? I asked him, looking at him with an innocent look. Where is Kara? You left with her last evening, and she was not at her place and now she is not at work. Sam tells me, trying to control himself and not rush to me. Oh, Kara. She took a day off, but now I will play dirty because that jerk deserves it. She had a hot date and now needs to rest. And that's the reaction I was looking for. She did what? Sam asked, whitening his face. You heard me. I introduced her to one of my friends from France. You know the saying, one person's garbage can be another's one treasure. And looking him in the eye, I twist the knife into his wound, telling him, maybe he will marry her. She is the sweetest woman I have ever seen in the last period. Kind, talented, and beautiful. Why waste her life in vain? And he has a little bit? And collapses. How could she go on a date with an unknown man? He asked. But I know that the question is more for himself, and he is not waiting for an answer from me. But why keep quiet when I can ruin his day even harder? He is very rich. He will treat her just as she should be treated. She told me that she was dumped by someone. Can you imagine what a fool? To kick such a woman? And Sam is just looking at me, and I could swear that he has tears in his eyes and just exits my office without a single word. Fucking jerk. How dare to come here and play God Almighty with Kara's heart? What right does he have to control her actions? But I was so lost in my own mind that I didn't even realize when one young designer called me. What? I asked, trying to focus. Mr. Cruz asked for you, Miss Quinn. What should I tell him? Why didn't he call me? I asked the man who was smiling at me. He did, a few times, but you didn't answer. And looking at my phone, I realized that it is still on mute. I'll call him. Thank you, Matt, isn't it? I ask him, making him smile even more happy while he nods his head. I press my phone and call Max only to hear him yelling at me. Why didn't you ask for my calls? He starts throwing his tantrum arrows in my direction again. Should I end the call? I ask him without caring about his reaction. What can he do to come over me again? But immediately there is silence. And I know that Max is still on the wire because I hear him breathing. Wait for me tonight. I will send you home to change, and then we will go to our dinner together. Our dinner? I asked, annoyed. It is a business dinner. He tells me right away. Tell me the location, and I will come by myself, I told him. But Max Cruz would no longer be Max Cruz. If he listened at least once, I will come after you at 7. Just be ready. And he ends the call. That is what you think? I say, nervous, and at 6 p.m. I took my things and went home. Dressed for dinner, and put on an evening makeup to match my red midi-length one-shoulder bodycon silk dress. I put my earrings, which are a gift from James on my 20th birthday, and curl my long hair more than its natural appearance. A red lip gloss, a bit of mascara. I take my nude Louboutins and my clutch, and right when I am ready Max Cruz calls me. Where are you? He asked. And I can swear I heard his teeth chatter. Oh, I forgot to call you. I am home, but don't worry. Tell me the location, and I will be there. I tell him as if it is nothing. Give your address, he says in a harsh voice. No, give me the location. I insist, but right then I hear him yelling at me. Give me your address, or I'll turn the whole city upside down. And when I find you, I'll show you what happens when you don't listen to what I am telling you. What the fuck? Am I 5 years old and Max Cruz is my daddy? But I don't feel like a scandal is necessary now. So I give him the address. I'll be there in 10 minutes. And he ends the call, Kara said, looking at me mesmerized. Is it safe to go out with him? She asked me. I was married to him for 6 months, and he wasn't able to do anything to me. It is hard for me to believe that something has changed since then. I tell her. He is just fooling around and likes to act like the big boss. I know him and he never acted like this. Are you sure he doesn't know who you are? Kara asks. What do you mean? I asked her immediately. He seems jealous for no reason. And he never went to a business dinner with any of Maxline's employees. Or to take someone home. Not even that stupid of Veronica did not enjoy this privilege. Kara said, What do you want to say? I ask, looking at her. I don't know. But be careful because I feel like there is something extra here. Kara says with a worried face, I will. And take her in my arms. His heart will pound out of his chest. When he sees you, Kara whispers in my ear, he has no heart. So he is safe, I say, and start to laugh. Max Cruz. Point of view. I swear to you, Stark, when I see her, I will break her throat, I say on the verge of a nervous breakdown. That woman is impossible. I can't do it. Why Goddess? Why her, of all women? Is it because of that human that was my wife? Will you shut up? Stark asks me. Why her? I asked again. Turn your head and ask the same question. One more time, said Stark, making me look behind me. Shit, I say, and I feel like I come in my pants like a teenager. Put the same question again. You jerk, Stark yelled at me. Shut up and let me marvel, I say, looking at her with my mouth wide open and salivating like a dumbass. I immediately jump out of the car to open the door for her. But Meredith walks around me and goes in the back seat. What the fuck is she doing? Am I her driver? But she does not move on the front seat, and looking at me as if there is nothing wrong, she asks me, should we start? And then looks at her phone, ignoring me. How can this woman bring me from ecstasy to agony in a millisecond? I look at her intently, and seeing that she does not move from behind to come near me, I go to the driver's seat and say to her, your wish is law for me, milady. And she is just ignoring me. I swear to you, this human being is a little pervert. She is doing all this on purpose. She came in front of me looking like a goddess, like a fucking sex bomb, and then she just boomed my brain with her attitude. Kiss her. Stark starts again, but I ignore him. Who are we meeting? Suddenly she asked me. Yeah. Now he wants to talk. It's my time to ignore her. Are you 5 Mr. Cruz? She asked me, and that's it. I can't stand it anymore, and ask her, is this why your husband left you? Because you are so mentally constipated? And she is just looking at me, and I can swear that for a second. I saw tears in her eyes, but she chose to say nothing, making me feel like a jerk. She just looks out the window, without looking at me for another second. At the restaurant, she opens her door, without waiting for me to open it, and gets out of the car, going straight to the reception. Max, I don't know what is going on in your head, but please just take a break and let me think in your place. Stark said, I will suicide if you speak one more time. I swear to you. You will be the first alpha in the werewolf's history that made his wolf do this. Are you stupid or what? And I don't know what to say. Because I really feel like a jerk. She is my mate whether I like it or not, and I made her feel horrible shit. I look at her as she walks to the table that the receptionist pointed out to her. And my heart beats so hard that I am almost suffocated. She is perfect. I can't take my eyes off her hips moving as she walks. And that little perfect ass, go after her if you don't want to live only from memories. All the men in the restaurant are looking at her. Take her now, Stark said furious. I enter. And I see her at our table with my client, Maximilian Cruz, the man of the hour, said Vincenzo Castellano, the man I want to convince for more than 3 years to work with Max Lines. But our project is never up to his expectations. Good evening, Vincenzo. I say and take a seat near Meredith, trying to make all the men that are dreaming to be with her to close their mouths because she is taken. You didn't tell me you are going to bring a beautiful woman with you tonight, said Vincenzo, looking at Meredith in a way that made me feel insecure. Vincenzo. She is Meredith Quinn, my chief designer. She just came from France where she studied and had a lot of performances. We are really happy to have her here. I say, and look at Meredith to see her looking in my eyes to see if I am telling the truth or I am ironic. Miss Quinn, you are looking beyond any imagination. I've never saw a woman so beautiful as you, said Vincenzo, and I think I'll stand up. Take Meredith and I'll fuck this business if he compliments her one more time. Thank you, Mr. Castellano. But I am sure that in your activity you've seen a lot of women more beautiful. Beauty is just something circumstantial. These are dusty things which you sometimes throw away, but after a while you see them again, and they look gorgeous, she said. Looking at me, you are right, Vincenzo said, and looked at her and said, I must say, I am here for a contract for my new clothing line, but since you came in I have a certain thing in mind. I want to hire the designer who created the dress you are wearing. And laughing, he says to me, I am sorry, Max, for making you lose your time again, but that dress is extraordinary, and whoever created it has to work with me. Of course, he would never think of Max Lines. And I just look at him and I don't know what to say. But right then Meredith takes the lead and said, You have the designer at your table, Mr. Castellano. Don't say it, Vincenzo said, smiling and holding out his hand. He grabbed Meredith's hand. I see her face and I realize she is bothered by his gesture, so I take her other hand and look her in the eye and smile. My love, why don't you tell Vincenzo the story of this dress? And being taken aback, Vincenzo immediately withdraws his hand, releasing Meredith. Are you together? He asks. I'm sorry, Max. I didn't know it. You know me. I don't let any beautiful woman escape me. And then looking at Meredith, who is still looking at me, he says, So what is the story of this dress? And I continue to hold her hand. I feel all those tingles that make me feel like goosebumps. She is looking in my eyes with those gorgeous blue eyes of hers, then at my hand holding her hand, and then said, It was my dissertation in Paris. When I presented it at the exhibition, Mr. Francois Castle was very impressed and brought the project for his own collection. Francois Castle? I asked in shock. Francois Castle, the biggest designer from Europe? Yes. He made a special dress for me after my project sheets, to remember him any time I wear it, Meredith said, and suddenly I hate this perfect dress. Max, Vincent said, looking at me, the contract is yours, but I want to work only with her. Of course, she will be the one who will work on this project. Send me the theme of this season so we can start working. The evening went smooth, but when at the final Vincenzo took Meredith's hand again and kissed her. I felt like this contract is the worst idea ever, but my heart just stopped when he whispered her. Knowing exactly that I will hear him, when you get tired of him, you know where to find me. I am yours body and soul. I don't like him at all. His fashion house is one of the largest in North America, but at the same time he is a werewolf just as I am. An alpha and a fucking jerk, which if he sees something he likes, he takes it without thinking. Mark her. Stark yelled. No. I will not mark her just because she makes my friend from the South rise in 1 second. You are going to lose her. Look around. Is there a man in this restaurant who doesn't want her for him? Stark yells and closes all the communication with me. No. She will never choose someone like Vincenzo Castellano. She won't. Isn't it, authors? Point of view. Leaving the restaurant. Meredith goes to the back door of the car, but Max goes after her and catches her in his arms. Stay on the passenger seat, near me, he says, and his heart is trembling seeing that she can't look in his eyes, since he asked her about the reason her husband left her. She had a sadness in her eyes that made him feel horrible. There is no need, Mr. Cruz, Meredith said, lifting her eyes and looking into his black eyes. He is a handsome man, and he was her husband. The husband that never wanted her. The husband that forced her to make an escape plan. Seeing that until the wedding day he had no intention of knowing her, he is the husband that made her feel even more insignificant than she already felt. And now he had the audiency to ask her if she was mentally constipated. She just looks at him. And when her heart is finally still, she tells him, "Please take me home. I am not feeling well. I'll take you to the hospital," Max said, scared. "No, Mr. Cruz is about my mind. I remembered something tonight, and I just need a good sleep and tomorrow I will be fine. Call me Max, please," he said, still holding her in his arms. "I can't. I am too weak and insignificant to stand in front of you," she said, making him startled, because those are exactly his inner thoughts. "You are not," Max said, raising a hand and caressing her face. And he is almost trembling when he touches her. Her body in his arms is beyond everything he felt in this life. Meredith looks at him and asks him in whisper, "Why are you acting like this? Isn't it clear?" Max said, coming near her ear and inhaling her smell, and then putting his lips in the crook of her neck where his mark should have been. He puts a soft kiss there, but Meredith moves away from him. He has no right to act like this with her. He is just playing with her. All the time they were married, he never asked, not even once, if she needed anything. If she was sick, if she was happy, she can't forget. She fooled him only on the day of their marriage, but after that every day she was Meredith Cruz, the real one, simple and humble, waiting for her unworthy husband to come home. So she gathers her strength and gently pushes him away from her. "What are you doing, Mr. Cruz?" she asks him. "Call my name, please. I want to hear it in your mouth," Max said, approaching her again and holding her face in his hands. He rested his forehead on her forehead. "I can't," Meredith said again. But as soon as she finished, Max kissed her lips lightly, putting soft peck on her lips, and she didn't fight with him this time. "Call my name, please." She lifts her head and looks into his eyes and whispers, "Maximilian." His name on her lips sounds like an incantation for him, and his heart for the first time understands that he can't just reject her. Even if he can't accept her directly. "Will you let me go now?" she asks him without taking her eyes off him. He opened the door from the front seat and signed her to enter. And then he goes to his seat and drives straight to her apartment, without knowing that from the parking lot Vincenzo Castellano was looking at them. "They're really together," he said to his beta, and clenched his fingers into a fist until they began to crackle. "I want that woman, Craig," he said. "Find a way to bring her to me, but in the same evening." Max is worried. What's the story of Meredith Quinn? What's so sad about her marriage? So after he left Meredith at her apartment, he called the only man that can find anything in this world, because he is an innate detective. "James," he says, as soon as James Quinn answers his phone. "I need your help," he said with a wired voice. James looks at Lori and mouths. Something happened. And both of them stay alert. "What happened, Max?" he asks him, trying to get to the heart of the matter. "I want you to investigate someone for me," Max tells him, and immediately James freezes. "Your mate?" "Yes, my mate," Max said, still with a tormented heart. "But what happened? What do you want to know?" says James immediately, hoping that nothing serious has happened. "I want to find out what happened with her marriage. I offended her today and her sad face broke my heart, man. I was a jerk with her, Max said. But right now, if it would be possible, James will beat his ass for hurting her sister's feelings. Stop tormenting the poor woman, Max. She is your mate. Love her if you want, but never hurt her. He almost yells at her on the phone, making Lori come and take him in her arms to calm her down. Why are you yelling like this? Max asks. You don't even know her. I have a sensitivity for those mate bonds. Just ignore me, and then he tells Max. I will see what I will find about her husband, and then we'll talk. And he ends the call. Why is he so sensitive? Max asks. He does not even know her. What the hell is wrong with him? He will find. Who is the man who broke her heart, and I will beat him, strangle him and feed him to the wolves. You could start by beating yourself up. Stark told him, annoying him again. No. I have no reason to do it, he said, making Stark growl, and while he enters the pack house, he sees Sam in the living room with Luke. What happened? Max asks, looking at Sam. But Luke immediately tells him, your mate told him in the morning that Kara Lewis went on a date with a Frenchman, and he is just depressed. And Luke laughs. I think he changed his mind. He wants his little Omega back. It is not true, Sam said. Then what is the point of this circus? Max tells him, sitting down next to them, she didn't reject me. How is it possible to go to meetings already? She doesn't think about me at all, so he is jealous. Luke said, I am not. Sam yelled at him, then you are a fool. Luke continued, do you want me to beat you? Sam asks, standing up and pointing at Luke. You two are stupid. Both of you, he said sincerely. When my mate died in that damned rogue attack 2 years ago, I felt like dying. I would do anything to have her back because believe me, there will never be another woman to make me feel like she used to do it. I can only hope that I will be one of those privileged werewolves who get a second chance. And throwing them another sad look, tells them, someone else will love them enough to make them not care about your fucking bondmate. And while you are man-worrying, they will find the happiness in another place. And it will be just your fault because you are undecided. I still don't want her, Max said. I mean, I want her, and at the same time I don't want her. Undecided, Luke said in syllables and went out of the room nervously. Don't come to me when you are going to cry like two whimsical little kids. I look at Sam, and he is looking at me. Fuck, he said, and ran outside, leaving me alone. I am not undecided, isn't it? Author's point of view. The next morning, Meredith and Kara came to the office together, led by the driver sent by James. As usual, Meredith, don't you think it is too much? Kara asks her, pointing to her clothes. No, you just look perfect, she said, smiling at Kara. You are beautiful, and these clothes only do justice to your beauty. I've never had anything so beautiful on me, she said, looking at her dress. You have a mission. Remember, to make Sam Jackson kneel in front of you and apologize, and believe me that this will happen soon. You must be confident and believe in yourself. Meredith told her. Kara is wearing a dress that Meredith brought special for her last night. It's a Guess light blue tweed look dress, with a classic collar, short sleeves, slim fit. The dress has an inserted golden belt on waist, and some splendid buttons at the front, mid-thigh length. Isn't it too short? Kara asked, feeling uneasy with the dress above her knees. No, Kara. It's the perfect length, isn't too short. Don't worry, let's go in until we're late. And when both Meredith and Kara entered the company, everyone present in the company lobby turned their heads to look at them. Although Meredith has only been here for 2 days, she made everyone's hearts tremble. But Kara's new look is just the icing on the cake. She is so pure and angelic with her straight blonde shoulder-length hair. She has blue eyes just like Meredith, but she is just 5.4 high and she is very slim because of the poverty she lived in. Right now, she is just like a sweet and enticing fondant candy. As soon as the elevator doors open, Meredith and Kara come face to face with Max and Sam, who keep their mouths wide open looking at the two women. Max feels his body react to Meredith's appearance, and involuntarily puts his hands in front of his pants, trying to hide what is more than obvious. But Sam, Oh, Sam has a little bit and faint seeing how beautiful Kara is. But how does she afford to wear a dress like this? And when does Kara wear makeup? Both Kara and Meredith signal to them that they will take the next elevator. But just when the doors close, Max puts his feet between the doors, stopping it from closing. Get in, he said in a commanding voice, while Sam was still with his mouth open. No, thank you. We don't want you to feel cramped, Meredith tells him, motioning for him to come up. Get in, Max said, a little bit nervous, and trying to avoid all the eyes that are on us right now, having no intention to provoke him. In order to avoid a show with everyone present here, Meredith gets on the elevator, and immediately Kara follows her. They turn their backs on Max and Sam, and ignore them completely, waiting for the elevator to reach the 6th floor, where the design department is, but Sam goes crazy looking at Kara. All he sees are her super slim but very fit legs. He never thought that she could look so good under her old clothes. And her little ass on which he feels the need to put his hands. So he presses the emergency button, and stops the elevator between the 5 and 6 floors. What the fuck are you doing? Max asks him through their mind link. I will take her down from this elevator, man, and send her home to change her clothes, Sam said fiercely, just looking at Kara. Tell me that you didn't press that button. You idiot. Meredith tells Sam, looking into his eyes with authority, leaving him with his mouth open. How the fuck is it possible for her to use a Luna command on me if she is human? And she is not your wife yet, he asks Max, but Max just looks at her. She has her hair caught in a light bun, and wears a very light vibrant pink ribbon detailed tweed dress from Gucci. That looks a lot with Kara's dress but is knee-length. The powder pink and beige cotton blend ribbon detailed tweed dress make her look more younger, and he has the need to kiss her right now. And all this outfit combined with her attitude is just irresistible. Alpha. The elevator maintenance staff suddenly hears, Is everything okay? And Max's heart stopped and immediately answered, We are fine, just start the elevator. Feeling his panic after the elevator mechanic addressed him with Alpha, Meredith can't help but ask, Is your ego so big that even your employee addresses you as a supreme leader? And Kara bursts into laughter without wanting to. But just a glance from Max makes her swallow her laughter. Mr. Cruz. You are so scary, Meredith says ironically, and as soon as the doors open she gets off the elevator with Kara after her. The doors close, but in a second they open again, scaring them when Max and Sam appear behind them. Max pulls her hand and drags her into her office. All the department looks at them, wondering what is happening. They know Max is capricious and hard to control when he is nervous. But everyone in the design department really likes Meredith. At the same time, Sam takes care and lifts her over his shoulder with her ass in the air and goes straight to the kitchen. Sam puts Kara on a counter while she tries to pull on her dress and sit back down after Sam almost leaves her bare ass in front of all her colleagues. Where have you been in the last 2 nights? Sam asks, furious, clenching his fists. At home, Kara answers, looking into his eyes for the first time since Sam rejected her, and his heart starts beating fast. She is so beautiful with her white skin, and her little nose, and those fleshy lips. What if he kissed them right now? But Leo starts laughing, in his mind. Why are you so tormented, Sam? Didn't you say she is nothing in your life? That she is too weak for you? It just seems to me or this little Omega has a lot of power over you. Shut up, Leo, Sam said, and looking at Kara he said, You are lying. I searched for you and your neighbor, said that you moved from there. How do you know where I am staying? Kara asks angrily. What bravery on him, and for the first time she realized that Meredith is right. She will play him on her finger until he comes to her feet. No, until he cries like the last beggar. He will pay for not wanting her from the beginning in his life. Tell me where you've been, Sam shouted at her, holding her in his arms. But Kara gathers all her strength and pushes him with all her might, moving him only a little, but enough to panic him. You know what? She asks. Let's end this here. You have no right to ask me about what I am doing. You are nothing in my life. I just need to leave and find my happiness, she said, and Sam turned white. Is she accepting our rejection? Leo asks, almost transforming. I Kara Lewis, she starts, accept your. But Sam puts his hand on his ears and runs out of the kitchen. If he doesn't hear words, her acceptance will not be valid. What a fool. Sissy, Kara's wolf said. I wonder who is really weak in this story. And Kara just looks at the floor and feels her heart tightening. This was close. But why didn't he accept my rejection? Why did he run? Because he is an idiot who doesn't know what he wants. Author's point of view. Kara calms a little, and she comes down from the counter that Sam placed her. But as soon as she wants to get out of the kitchen, she comes face to face with Luke Navarro, and she shivers, being a little scared of him. I am sorry, Gamma, she said, and put her head down. I was looking for you, Luke said. Can you talk? He asks her gently, looking at her, and he signals her to follow him back into the kitchen. Forgive him, he says, looking into her eyes. I don't know what you are talking about, Kara said, looking at him. Sam, forgive him. Don't reject him, not yet at least. Give him a chance to understand what he will lose. He rejected me. There is nothing to understand, Gamma Kara said with sadness and dignity, until you accept his rejection. It is not all lost. Please, Kara. And he starts to walk to the door, but not before looking at her one more time. And smiling at her, he said, I like this new Kara. If he doesn't suit himself, I will take you on a date. I am mateless, and you are fantastic. Sweet Kara. And he leaves the room while Kara is all blushed, unbelieving what just happened. What happened last night with these men? Was it an all-out eclipse that affected their brains? She asks, but Sissy just laughed and said, we rock, girl, that's what happened. But in the meanwhile, in Meredith's office, Max angrily closes the door behind him, and pulling all the blinds starts to come, in alert steps, to Meredith, while she walks with her back until she hits the wall. You've made a habit of provoking me, haven't you? He asks her, and Stark is about to take control and forcefully mark Meredith. Meredith looks him in the eyes and sees the glow in his eyes. And she can't do anything but marvel. What is going on? She asks herself. Is Maximilian Cruz aroused by her presence? This can't be possible. She knows this glow too well. But her body somehow responds to his touch, and when he puts his hands on her hips and drags her into his body with force. Standing united in the hips area, her heart just skips a bit. Mr. Cruz, let me go. I need to work, Meredith said, almost stammering. Stop provoking me, Miss Quinn, or you will know how big my ego is. And he pushes his hips on her body, making her feel what happens in his pants right now. You scoundrel, Meredith yelled, and tried to slap him without caring that she had a strong alpha in front of her, because right now Max is harassing her by taking advantage of his power. But in the second minute, Max grabbed her hand and, running his hand under her ass, lifted her off the ground, forcing her to put her free hand around his neck. And when he feels her arm around his neck, he immediately bends down and kisses her again with force and passion, letting himself be carried away by the passion that the mate bond creates in him. And if at the beginning Meredith tries to push him and free herself from his kiss, after a while she just melted in his arms, under the assault of his kisses, until she started to respond to his kiss. But right then Max remembers that he doesn't want her. And coming to his senses, he break away from her and say, my ego is this big. And next time when you respond to my kisses, remember this. I am the supreme leader in this company, and I take what I want, when I want. And he leaves her on her feet and goes out. Meredith just looks at him and feeling completely humiliated. She swears in her heart and immediately begins to gather her personal belongings from the office. Kara sees her almost crying and asks in panic, what happened? I quit, Kara, she said, and hid her face so that the other colleagues wouldn't have to see her tears. But everyone knows how draconian Max can be when he is in a bad mood, so they can only be sad that such a beautiful woman will no longer be their colleague. What? Kara asks in panic. Then I quit too, she said. I do not want to be here without you. I will lose myself again, and together, they go directly to the Human Resources Department. I am so sorry because you are leaving the company so soon, Miss Quinn, said the HR director. You too, Miss Lewis. You've been here as a chief for 2 days, and we have already won an important project. The department will miss both of you. I am sorry too, Miss Lynn, Meredith said, and looking at Kara, they left the company in a rush. What shall do I do from now on? Kara asked, a little bit panicked, not knowing if this is the right decision. We will see. Right now, don't worry. We have enough money to live in peace. And if we will not find a job soon, we will go to my father's pack, and we will work there. You will like my parents, said Meredith, reassuring Kara as they boarded a taxi. But right then, Meredith's phone started to ring. Is it him? Kara asks. Who else? Meredith begins to laugh. I suppose that Madame Lynn gave him the news. I am afraid of him, Meredith. What if he takes revenge on us? Kara asks. I am not. The only thing that bothers me is that I have to ask James for $5 million to give to this bastard. What is worse is that he made me feel insignificant again. Just like he did when we were married. I hate Sam, Kara said. I am glad that finally I broke all the ties with him, and that I will not see him again. It hurts too much to see him every day and to know that I am not enough for him. He will regret it, Kara, Meredith said. I know his type of werewolf, strong and arrogant, who thinks that he deserves all the things in the world. But in the end, he will find out that he has a missing piece in his happy puzzle. And looking at Kara, she says, and that piece is you. Have faith he will pay for his debts. And Kara put her head on Meredith's shoulders, letting her tears flow on her face, watching the screen of Meredith's phone light up continuously. Will you answer him? No. She closed her phone. Max's cruise. Point of view. Are you nuts, Stark? Did you really want to mark it without my will? I asked angrily. I was carried away by the wave. And when Meredith began to answer my kiss, I felt how Stark took control of me. You are a fucking jerk. That you are Stark, I said, and entered my office where Sam is already waiting for me with Luke. What happened? Luke asks, looking at me strangely. Nothing. Just Stark, and the pressure he puts on me to mark that human. I answer nervously and go and sit at my desk. That human? Luke asks, looking at me as if 2 more heads have grown up on my shoulders. You know what I mean? I say, snorting nervously. You know what, Max? He said, and stood up, walking towards the door. I am sick of seeing both of you mocking what you have received as a gift. You don't even know how lucky you are. And he leaves the office, but immediately opens the door, and looking at Sam, he says, and you? I want to find out from me. I asked Kara to announce me when she rejects you because I really like that girl. She rocks. And when everything will be over with you two, I intend to make her mine. Fuck you. Both of you, he said and went out. What the fuck was that? I asked, looking at Sam, who was still looking shocked at the door. I believe his period has come. Or something like that. Ignore him. He is just mad because this month is that sad anniversary. Sam said, shaking his head in disapproval and staring blankly. Sam, what happened? I asked him. She tried to accept my rejection today, he said. That's wonderful, man. You will be completely free, I say, smiling at him, but his face says nothing about the joy that he will finally feel when he will get rid of Kara. Sam, what is wrong? I asked him again. What if I will regret it, Max? What if I am making a mistake? He tells me in panic, you are doing the right thing. You always wanted to have a strong woman by your side, not some abandoned Omega that not even her family wants. If she were at least some Delta. But she is the weakest being in our pack. I tell him, trying to make him happy, you didn't see her today, Max. She was so ferocious, and she was so determined to finish our mate bond that terrified me. You are doing the right thing, so as I do, because earlier I just put Meredith Quinn at her corner and showed her who is the real boss here. I tell him, very proud of myself. But Sam looks at me lost. Sam. Stop it. What the hell happened to you? You make me feel bad and you ruin my mood. I am sorry. I don't know what happened to me in the last few days. Ever since I saw her in the parking lot 2 days ago. I can't get it out of my head. It is like all I want is to have her, Sam said. It is just a whim. It is going to pass. And in addition, you can see her anytime. Where will she go? I say, laughing. Your little Omega will always be at your disposal. She tried to run from you coming here and living alone. And what happened? You came to the company too. So what is the problem? And I start laughing, being very sure of myself when my phone starts to ring. Is it Madam Lin? What happened this time? Did any employee complain again that I am a tyrant? And finally, I made Sam smile. Yes, madam. I say, listening to what she is telling me. 2 employees this time. Send me their resignation by email, and I'll see if they want compensation. I told her and I immediately hung up the phone. You'll soon run out of employees if you yell at them like that every day. Sam tells me, amused. Let's see who left this time. I told him, totally careless, but opening Madam Lin's email. I almost fell with the chair I am sitting on. I push all the things from the desk, throw everything in my path and run desperately to the elevator, while I hear Sam shouting for me. What the fuck happened? He yells, and when he say a shit, I know that he read the email. This fucking elevator. I screamed, kicking the elevator door and then taking the emergency stairs. I don't know when I got from the 12th floor to the 6th floor. But by the time I entered the design department, all the employees were startled and froze. I run directly to her office. There is nothing left to get out of here. Not even a pen of hers. Nothing at all. Yes, man. You showed her who the boss was, Stark said, and until I got to tell him something, he closed all the links with me, leaving me alone for the first time in our life. I know that he is mad at me. Where is she? I asked. Coming back to the department. She left a half an hour ago. Alpha. One of the designers said, and just then, I see Sam coming too and looking in panic around the department. Looking for Kara for sure. I see him whitening his face completely. Did she really leave me? He asks with a voice I don't recognize. All the designers are looking at us and don't dare say anything. And I am sure they realized what happened. I took out my phone and called her. 1 time, 2 times, 100 fucking times, and she is not answering, and seeing that she chose to cut all ties with me. I do the only thing that comes to mind. I called James. I need your help. I say in a rush. I wanted to call you too and tell you what I found out. He tells me, tell me everything. I say nervously, maybe he'll tell me something that will make me hate Meredith Quinn long enough. That I don't care that she is gone. She was married 5 years ago. It wasn't her choice. It was her parents' wish to marry that guy, thinking that she will be protected and loved. But the guy was a fucking jerk. James said, and my heart almost stopped. Did he hurt her? I asked, trembling. If he does, I will find him and I will kill him. No, he didn't touch her body. He completely ignored her when they were married. He acted like a man-whore and forced her to see all the women he was sleeping with. He made her feel rejected over and over again during their marriage. But she had a way to escape, so she asked for divorce and run in France to live her dream and become a designer. France is not a cheap country. I tell him, realizing that something is wrong. Her family is very rich, man. She is not lacking money. She could stay all day long without doing anything, but she wanted to work and have her own money, and I feel like the most stupid man in the universe. She already suffered a lot because of that fucking jerk of her ex-husband, and now what have I done? I need your help. I say, again? James asks, again. I need to find her. I say almost in a whisper. What do you mean by that? James asked so panicked that scared me. I made a mistake. And she resigned and left. But I can't say anything anymore that James shuts up the phone in my nose not before I heard him. Swearing at me. What is wrong with everyone today? I asked Sam, who stays near me and looks like a dead man. I know where she lives, at least her street and the number. I say to Sam, maybe I will see her there. Come with me. I say, but he stiffens and doesn't even blink. Stark. I say, what do you want? He asked me in a very harsh voice. Help me find her. Author's point of view. This is the address, Max said, looking at the building where Meredith's unit is located, And now what? Stark asks. We just stay and wait for her to come home. No, Stark said. I will go in and sniff all the unit's doors until I find her. Are you nuts? Max asked. I am not so desperate, and hearing him Stark become mute and closed again. All his links with Max, leaving him as alone as a human who has no imaginary friend to talk with, but after 3 hours of waiting in front of the building. Max already felt like he was going crazy. And although he was embarrassed, he said to Stark, You win. But Stark doesn't even notice. I am sorry, Stark. I know that you want her, he said. Let's find her. And Stark appeared. And after growling at him a few times, he began to walk the halls of the building until he could smell the scent he was looking for. Here, Stark said. She is here. Max stayed in front of her door and looked at her door without knowing what to do. Knock the door, you moron. Stark yelled at him, and in the end, Max did as he was asked. When the door opens, his heart skips a beat, seeing in front of him the most beautiful angel. But he wakes up from dreaming immediately when Meredith slams the door in front of his face. Shit. What do I do now? He asked himself. I can't put the door down without alarming the entire building, and here humans live too. Ring the bell, Stark's commands, and he just pressed the doorbell. For 15 minutes. He pressed it again and again until the door opened. But this time he didn't see Meredith in front of him. But James, and his face just fell on the floor. What the fuck are you doing at my mate house? He yells so hard that Meredith and Kara heard him from the unit, and just froze on the spot. Mate? Kara asks in a whisper. Putting her hands over her mouth. He must be kidding me, Meredith said. I am human. It is impossible. But she immediately stops the revelation she just had because at the door James and Max have a little more, and they start beating each other. Stop it, she yelled, completely annoyed by the circus those two were doing, as if they were two roosters fighting and pushing each other with their chests. Didn't you tell James to look for me? She asked Max, making him look at James's perplexed mind. He found me, and he came to talk to me about coming back to your company, because you are lacking good designers. You should pay him double for the trouble, Meredith said, shocking James, who can't believe how quickly she made up an excuse to get him out of Max's hands. I should go, James said, knowing that if he stayed, the situation could deteriorate badly. No, James. You came here with good intentions. If he wants to stay here, you will stay too. I don't trust this. And squeezing her eyes at him, she said, Horrible man. Hey. The alpha from Max came out feeling offended. Watch your mouth. But James immediately puts himself between them. And looking at Meredith, he smiles and says, I will stay. And he went directly to the living room. You've been here before? Max asks him, seeing how familiar he is with Meredith's unit. No. But my sister has a similar unit, and just hearing about his ex-wife. His face became uglier, making Meredith laugh in her heart. Max looked at her, and his heart became so calm just seeing her. She is so simple, without any trace of makeup, just in some Victoria's Secret essential sports shorts, and a cotton tank with the tiniest straps that leaves her clavicle and abdomen visible. She is so slim and fit at the same time, and so fragile, and he feels the need to take her in his arms. But, just when he was dreaming with his eyes open at all the things he would like to do with her, Meredith asked him, What do you want? Now that she knows that Max is her mate, she has another perspective on things, and in her heart she is happy because, folks, this is karma, and she knows it. Max is taken aback by the harsh tone, in which Meredith speaks to him, and looks slightly confused at James. I am not here to help you, but to mediate the conflict between you two, he said, because he was caught between a hammer and an anvil, but he will always be on Meredith's side, no matter what. I will leave you alone, Kara said. But Max looked at her and said, Bring me a glass of water. It is a little hot here, he says, feeling suffocated. No, I will not, Kara said, and turned her back and left. Now, she is free from New Moon Pack, from Alpha Maximilian Cruz, and from everything she lived in her past. What is wrong with her? Max asked. Nothing, said Meredith. She just broke her bond with her relatives, or pack as she likes to call them. Even I don't understand this term. And Max looks in horror to the door where Kara exits. Sam will die when he will hear that he is no longer her beta to control her. Mr. Maximilian Cruz, Meredith said again. What do you want? For you to come back to Max lines. Max said directly. Why should I come? Meredith asks. To show me again who is the supreme leader. Come over to my office and kiss me whenever you feel like it. Meredith asks, but James looks at him and suddenly yells at him. Are you nuts? Meredith? You should sue him for harassment. He is a jerk. Max is looking at him and whispers, What are you doing? But James doesn't even blink. I have no interest in coming back. I was thinking of opening my own company. Meredith said without being interested in Max. I am sorry, please come back, he asked with puppy eyes. Just the thought of her being alone. God's nowhere, without him being around, makes him feel sick. Your apologies are not enough, Meredith said. And she knows that if she really is his mate, he will do anything to make her come back. Because without a rejection, he will never be able to stay away from her because of his wolf. And she knows exactly why she wasn't rejected by him. She's seen it so many times. His wolf wants her. And he, the Huma Max Cruz, is a jerk because he doesn't want her. Ask anything and I will give it to you, Max said, making James smile seeing him so desperate. If possible, James would like to take a picture of him just to remember this moment. I want $5 million to come back, Meredith said, looking straight into his eyes. Are you nuts? Max asked as James began to cough. Meredith, don't you think you are exaggerating? James asked her. Even if Max has billions. But still, $5 million. In this case, it seems that things are clear. Get out, Mr. Cruz, Meredith said, and walked in front of him, letting him admire her delicate body. She goes straight to the door and opening it, repeats, Get out now. Max looks at her and marvels. Is she really a human? Isn't she afraid of anything? He just looks at her and swears at her in his heart for opposing him in this way. Never in his life did he feel like this. He had hundreds of women. And now the only woman that counts hates him. I will give it to you, he said in a low voice, shocking both James and Meredith. And I want one more thing, she said. But immediately James reacted, Meredith, don't you think you are really, really exaggerating this time? No, I am not. You don't know how he treated me. He is a jerk, and came here because he needs me for a contract with Vincenzo Castellano. Meredith said, trying to look like she had no idea about the mate bond. What do you want more? Max asked, already boiling. This woman is too much. Just too much. I want to have a personal assistant. You have that whore, Veronica, or what her name is. And suddenly James throws him an ugly look. I want an assistant too. Especially with the new contract, I will need one. All right. I will send someone to work with you, Max said. Number I want, Kara, Meredith said, and looked straight in his eyes. All right. Anything else? Max asked. Some diamonds. A new car? A helicopter? The White House? He asks ironically, for now is enough, said Meredith. And going again to the door and open it, she said, Goodbye, Mr. Cruz. See you tomorrow. And I hope that you will not welcome me with your tantrums again, because this is your only chance to bring me back. Max just looks at her in shock and immediately goes out for her unit. Not knowing if he was hit by lightning, if he was trampled by a spear, or if a meteorite fell on his head. What was that? He asks Stark, unable to believe that he accepted everything Meredith asked without blinking. Oh, nothing. Just our weak mate. And Starks laughs until his abdomen starts to hurt. Dumbass. Author's point of view. The next day, in the morning, Meredith and Kara came to the company together. Kara is wearing a simple fitted t-shirt dress in tomato red from Victoria Beckham, while Meredith wears a wide-leg jumpsuit with sash from Carolina Herrera, which effectively makes her look perfect. Both of them are elegant and look like divas. Seeing her coming back, all her colleagues smile happily at her. In her office, Meredith is shocked to see that Max put some plants and some paints, and in a corner, he also bought for her a blue velvet nail-head trim sofa and a little table. He also arranged some hanging shelves where he left for Meredith some expensive books and magazines from the fashion world, making her look around too to see if there is a candid camera around. This must be a joke. She is looking around and squeezed her eyes. What is he trying to do? She asks Kara, who starts to laugh as soon as she enters the office. At least he's trying. Even if we don't know his intentions to do all this, but he is trying. He didn't mark you or say anything to you. So this is not woo-ing, is just something else. I didn't ask for this, said Meredith, looking around. The office is prettiest for sure, but she didn't need all that. Will you call him to thank him? Kara asks. Of course not. If he thinks he can buy me furniture and some plants, he is sick in his head. And Meredith just goes to the desk where Max put a note on a box of chocolates candies. Oh my goddess, said Meredith. I can't believe it, she said, laughing. What happened? Kara asked. He brought me chocolate. And she can't stop laughing. And what is so funny about this? I am allergic to chocolate. I will die in 2 minutes, and if I lick a candy, I don't even say what happens if I eat it. And looking at Kara, she asks her, do you want them? And Kara takes them, squeezing them to her chest. What happened? Meredith asks, looking at her happy face. I never ate chocolate. I am so happy to try it. What? Meredith asks in shock. It was too expensive for me, Kara said, as if it was nothing, still looking at the box from her hands. Now we have $5 million after I robbed Maximilian Cruz. I will give you all the chocolate you want, Meredith said, smiling at her. I will go now, said Kara. But just as she was leaving the office, she saw Sam coming out of the elevator. Seeing her, his face blushed, and he stood still in his place. Sam, Leo said. What if we accept her? He asked. Accept who, Kara? Whispered Sam, unable to take his eyes off Kara, who turns her back on him and walks to her desk, sitting down and looking at the box of chocolates in front of her. She is caressing the beautiful box. And opening it, she takes one of the candies and puts it in her mouth. Feeling the softness of the candy in her mouth, she closed her eyes and escaped a soft moan, making Sam's heart melt. I want her, Leo, I decided. Sam said. I want her. And walking to her, he stops in front of Kara and asks, can we talk? But Kara just looks at him a little, and then takes another chocolate candy in her mouth and says with another soft moan, I can't. I am in kind of invigorating activity. And he looked at her with his mouth open as she left herself on the back of the chair, and closing her eyes, she enjoyed the taste of the candy in her mouth. And after a few minutes, opening one eye and seeing that Sam is still in front of her, still with his mouth wide open, she said, will you go, please? You are disturbing me. Sam left, almost stumbling, trying to imprint deep in his mind the image of Kara, her soft moaning, her blushed face. This was the most sublime experience of his life. A happy mate is a gift from heaven, and he decided, I will accept her as my mate. I want her, said Sam. Are you sure? Leo asked, feeling that Sam is not serious enough about this. Yeah. I can't get her out of my head, man, said Sam, entering the elevator and pressing floor 12. What is with that face? Luke asks him when he sees him at Max's door. I made up my mind, Luke, he said, looking very serious at him. About what? And Luke looks at him. Are you all right? Did you smoke something illegal? No. But you can't have her. What can't I have? Luke asked, putting his head on Sam's forehead. You don't have a fever. So what can't I have and why? Kara, she is mine. I want her back, Sam said, making Luke smile in his heart. But he knows that Sam is emotionally unstable, so he puts straw on the fire and tells him even if he knows it is completely untrue. Shit. Tonight I will take her out. I am sorry, man. I suggest you start wanting her from tomorrow. Today she's mine. And Luke enters Max's office as if he said that the sky is clear outside, and it didn't annoy Sam at all. He is joking, Leo said. What if he is serious? Sam panicked. I must kidnap her tonight. He can't have her. She is mine. Author's point of view. Kara said, entering Meredith's office. Hey, what happened? Meredith asked, moving away from her drawing table and looking at Kara. He is asking for your presence in his office. I was really wondering why he didn't show up here so far. And he left me alone until this hour, says Meredith. It is about Vincenzo Castellano. It looks like he'll be there too, Kara said, looking at her. I will go now. Will you bring my drawings when I call you? And arranging her clothes, she asked, How do I look? You are perfect, You have already brought the contract. The rest is simple for you. And looking one more time over her drawings. Meredith divides them into 2 categories. I don't know what to choose. I will test the waters, and I will put him in front of a surprise if necessary. But this contract is mine, she said, and walked in the elevator. But as soon as the door opens, and she leaves the elevator, Meredith sees Veronica at her office. You are still here, Veronica yelled, very furious. Didn't you resign? She asks out loud, creating a commotion, and immediately jumps out of her office and rushes to Meredith to hit her. But in a second, Meredith punches her in the face. Max, Sam, and Luke come out of the office immediately and see Veronica pulling out her claws to hit Meredith. And their hearts stopped in that second, seeing Meredith's end. No! Max yells, running to Veronica to stop her, along with Luke and Sam. But Meredith grabs her arm and, breaking her wrist, makes Veronica scream in pain. Then punches her in the face and gives her one knee in the stomach, putting her completely on the ground and shocking them all. You stupid werewolf, Meredith said. And she didn't care if Max found out she knew about werewolves. What the fuck are you trying to do? Are you nuts? Even if you don't follow people's laws, at least follow yours. It is forbidden to hurt humans. And then Max comes and takes her in his arms, hugging her to his chest and checking to make sure she is okay. While Sam takes his sister from the floor. Maxie, Veronica yells. Don't leave me for this human. Sam, take her out of here, or I will break her neck. And Sam immediately takes her to the bathroom to help her clean her blood. Looking at Meredith's hand, Max sees some bruises and immediately panics. And taking her upstairs in bridal style, brings her to his office and puts her lightly on the sofa. Luke looks at him smiling. What do you need? Bring me some disinfectants and some bandages. And signal him to leave. Are you all right? Max asks, unable to believe that Meredith beat Veronica again. And this time she beat her hard. Do you think I am okay? Meredith asks him nervously. I came here for a meeting. And it looks like I rolled with the animals in the stable. She replies angrily, put the dog on a leash, Maximilian Cruz, or next time I'll break her neck. She doesn't mean anything to me. I don't want her, Max said, looking at her and feeling bad for what just happened, but as if Meredith hadn't heard him. She said, this is the last time I will come here. If that stupid woman will still work here, I can't fire her. She is Sam's sister. And this job is her last chance to work, because everywhere she goes she only does nonsense. And they all run away from her. Max said, then explain to her that there is nothing between us. Explain that everything is just a fantasy of hers, and that the 2 of us will never be together. Meredith said, nervous. Why? Max asked. Why what? Meredith looks at him, wishing to punch his face too. But her hand is hurting too much. To put that werewolf down, she used all her force. Why can't we be? But suddenly the door opens, and Vincenzo Castellano comes in and looks at Meredith sitting on the couch. And Max sitting on one knee in front of her, holding her hand in his hand. And he asks in shock, what are you doing? Are you proposing to her? What? Meredith asked in panic. No, Mr. Castellano, she said. I had a little accident earlier. Wonderful, said Castellano. That means I still have a chance to win you. And Meredith felt the need to punch him in the face. But Max took her hand in his hand, inserting his fingers between Meredith's fingers. While she just looked at him, Shit. She forgets that Castellano thinks they are together. Shall we start? Max asks, but he keeps an eye on Castellano, who looks strangely at Meredith. Did you draw anything for me, Miss Quinn? He asks. Yes, I did. Currently I made 2 sets of drawings for you, because you were not very precise in what you want this time. And analyzing your previous collections, I saw 2 different directions. So I came with 2 ideas, said Meredith, and both Max and Castellano asked at unison. In just 3 days? Yes. The night is too long to sleep all night, Meredith said, laughing. Show me your magic, Miss Quinn. And immediately Meredith calls Kara to bring her drawings. Ready exactly as she asked. You did all this in this short period? Castellano asked with his eyes wide open. Yes. And if you don't like it, I have a few more ideas, she said, and looked at Max, who looked at her with admiration. How can I not like it? I want them both, Meredith. So we clap our hands? Max asked at the height of his happiness, because he finally had the opportunity to work with Castellano. Of course, he said. And you know what? Tomorrow my company will hold a party. You are invited. You can bring whoever you want, said Castellano, knowing that Max will not travel without his beta and his gamma, and just when Meredith wants to turn him down. Max said, we will be there. Vincenzo Castellano walks out of the office and sees Veronica and stops in his tracks, completely shocked. He looks around and sees that she is alone, and he said, I don't want you. I don't want you either, said Veronica, looking at him with contempt, and hearing her, Castellano understands what is happening, and said, I alpha. Vincenzo Castellano reject you, and looks at her waiting for her name, Veronica Jackson. She whispers, as my mate. And he looks at her waiting for her to accept, and as soon as she did it, she looks at him, and asks, she mesmerized you too, didn't she? The human, Meredith Quinn. Yes, she did. She is a pretty little thing, and I want her, Castellano said. Help me to take back my Maxie. And you can have her. What is all about those 2? Castellano asked. Are they really together? They are more than that, Veronica said. They are mates. Smiling sinisterly, Castellano said, not for long.